picture a 100-yard dash where the track is actually straight, right? And the casino starts out ahead because they're going to take a little bit of money off of you, right? It's almost like running where they're running a straight race and you're running up a little bit of a hill. Or we all start at the same starting point and you're carrying 10 pounds. And every 20 feet, they throw 10 more pounds of weight on your back and it slows you down. That's what the house edge does to you. The race is not fair, okay? Because you lose even when you win, you're always losing ground to them. We talked about house edge yesterday as basics of what the house edge is and kind of how we connect into it, right? What it is, it's that commission that the casino wins in every bet, right? And although it's not a way to say this is the best way to play or it's a guaranteed way to win or you're going to win more money, it's important to know what the house edge is and how it works. And I showed you in chips yesterday kind of how that works, right? You take your bets and you say, well, over the course of time, let's take the 5 or 9 as an example, right? I'm gonna bet the 5 for $10. I'm gonna lose that thing 6 times. I'm gonna lose $60, right? When I win, the 4 times I win, I'm only gonna win 14, right? So I'm gonna end up being down the $4 in the end, or not down, but you're gonna be $4 lighter than you could have been had you got paid true odds. And I think that's okay. I think people get kind of like the casinos are screwing us, and but it's not that. To me, the house edge is fine. It's like any business, it's their profit. It's their margin, right? And it's why they exist. You know what I'm saying? They get you when you lose, they get you when you win. And I think that's the secret to kind of how it works. And I think what I want to talk about in this session, which is number 6 of the gambling math series 301, is the impact of the house edge on you. Okay. And the impact on you is you don't feel it. And I say this all the time. Nobody really feels the house edge, right? If they made you pay it with every bet, you would feel it, but they don't do that. They pay you the difference. They don't say to you, for example, on a $10 5 that pays, they paid it true odds, $15, but every time said, you got to give me $1 to do that. You had to pay them the $1 to get the $15, you'd feel it. What it is they're paying you $14. They're taking the $1 out ahead of time. They're giving you $14. We oftentimes do 15 for 1 as a convenience measure, right? But because you don't actually give them the difference, you don't give them the 40 cents on the 6 every time that the 6 hits, you don't feel that coming out of your bankroll, right? You're just winning less than you ought to. And again, from a tactical side of things, I'm fine with that. And you should be too, right? It's just the commission, right? It's their built-in profit that they make on every single bet. And again, that's part of doing business. It's the secret sauce of the casino. They take your money when you lose, of course, right? You're betting, I bet versus this. And if you lose, they take your money, which is what you expect, right? But they also take a little bit off the top when you win. Okay. 50-50 bet, you only win 90 cents. Like that's kind of what that is. Now, what is it? The real impact of this on us. And this is what I want to talk about today. The real impact on your life of the house edge. And again, this is not a house edge versus place bets. This is more of a, what does it look like? And I would say this to you. This is a great visual. This comes to me from a good friend of mine, JB. The picture I want you to have in your mind is this: all things being equal, right? If they paid you proper, if the 5 and 9 paid 3-2, if the 6 and 8 actually paid 6-5, if the 4 and 10 actually paid 2-1, which we know they don't on the craps game. If you were paid legitimately what the actual odds were, the race would look like this. We'd all be at the same starting point. You, me, and the casino. Okay. And how would you win? How would you ever beat the casino? And how would they beat you? Here's that you got to flip that question around. How would the casino beat you? Right? If every bet paid true, if you always got paid 3-2 on the 5 and 9, always got paid 6-5 on the 5 on the 6 and 8. Every bet's a tie, right? The only way for somebody to come out ahead is for somebody else to trip and fall in this race, right? If you're all running with the same speed and the same starting point, the only way to win is to win more often than them. Catch a streak where you win, the 5 times instead of 4 times out of 36. You catch that streak and you walk away. That's the only way that you can win in a tie race, right? And the casino knows that. right? In a tie game, in a tie race or an even race, the only way that they can win is to beat you either A, more often, or B, for more money, right? So if you are betting big because you think you got this whatever edge and you lose it, they can only come out ahead if you bet too much and lose, and or you lose more often than you ought to. That's the only way that anybody wins a race where everything is equal. We can run at the same speed and we have the same starting point and the race at the same distance. That's the way that's if it's a tie, nobody wins. And the casino cannot put a business together if it's going to be a guaranteed tie. And again, over a billion rolls I'm talking about. If it's a billion rolls and it's a tie, there's no way they can win any money or earn money. And that's why the house edge exists. The race we're actually running looks like this, right? And again, picture a 100-yard dash where the track is actually straight, right? And the casino starts out ahead because they're going to take a little bit of money off of you, right? It's almost like running where they're running a straight race and you're running up a little bit of a hill. Or we all start at the same starting point and you're carrying 10 pounds. And every 20 feet, they throw 10 more pounds of weight on your back and it slows you down. That's what the house edge does to you. The race is not fair, okay? Because you lose even when you win, you're always losing ground to them. And it gets worse and worse and worse over time. Even if the house trips and falls in that race, you're so far behind, you can almost never catch back up again. And it's kind of a daunting thing when you look at it. Now, again, you don't feel it. Like you don't tactically feel the money coming out of your rack. But if you look at what happens over the course of an enormous amount of time, you'll see what the impact of this really is. And I'm going to go actually to my browser screen here, excuse me, and show you what this looks like with actual numbers, okay? Because again, in the unfair race, when you lose, you win. You lose when you win. You're always losing ground. Here we go. Let me show you what this looks like. This spreadsheet, I hope, is going to give us a good visual on the impact to your life of what the house edge is. I'm going to break this down for you how I set this thing up. So we'll look at the 4 and 10 here as it goes across. I got it highlighted here in blue. And what we have here is the bet, place 4 and 10. It rolls 3 ways out of 36. We're looking at craps here, right? So 3 out of 36 combinations make you a 4 or a 10. The odds, therefore, against you are 6-3. You can lose 6 ways to a 7, win 3 ways on getting your number, which is 2-1. Okay. Your payout, though, is 9-5, not 2-1. So for a $10 bet, you're getting paid $18 instead of the 20 that you ought to be paid if it was true odds. Okay. That delta is $2. You're giving up $2 for every bet that you win on a 4 and 10. The 10% delta, your edge loss there is $2. Now, that doesn't seem like a big deal. Maybe even the 5 and 9, right? 5 and 9, you're a 3-2 underdog, 6-4. Okay. It pays 7-5. For a $10 bet, you win 14. Should be getting paid 15. It's a dollar delta. Here's the thing. When you're playing out there, you don't really feel this, right? It's tiny, right? These edge, I call them edge losses because it's really what you're giving up to the house on the edge with all these winning bets. They're just not paying you fairly, right, on the win, but you don't really notice it because you got a $10 bet out there, you roll a 5, they toss you $14 and you're like, yep, won $14. Or you got a $10 bet in the 4 and 10, you're like, yep, got $18, that's great. Okay. You don't feel it because they don't let you feel it. They pay you the true payment minus that delta, minus that difference. That's what they pay you. Imagine though, if every time they paid you true. They said, hey, yeah, you won the 4. Awesome. Here's $20. You got to give us 2. What if you had to pay this out of your rack every single time the bet won? Same thing here. What if on the 5 or 9, you had to pay the $1 to get paid 15? Now we do that a lot of times as players as a convenience to not have white chips on our rack. But what if that was the way that it was? And every single bet that you won, you had to pay this little bit extra each time you won the bet. Okay. On roulette, you're giving them $2, $3, whatever. Every time you win a bet, you got to give a little bit extra to cover the edge. Now you'd feel it. Okay. And even then you might say, $20. Like I say all the time, the house edge it's their right? They're in business. It's how they make money. It's fine, which is cool. Okay. This looks at one win. The 4 hits, you're giving up $2 an edge. Okay. What if you won 5 times tonight? What if you had a good night and you hit 4 or 5 4s or 10s? Look at the impact of this, please. Again, you're making $10 bets. You're getting paid $18. your delta is $2, but because you won 5 times, now you've given back $10 to the house on that edge. Okay, that's $10. You're giving 2 for 20, right? Or 10, or I'm sorry, 5 times you're giving 2 for 20. Look at this last column, the wins behind column. What this means is, okay, because you've given up 2 for 20 5 times, your total loss is $10. You got to get one full clean win, extra win before a 7, one extra win to recover to your bankroll what you've given up in those edged losses. Okay. Again, here's a decent night. Everything hits 5 times for you. You're doing great, right? All your place bets hit 5 times each. You're down $17. Actually, it's 34 because I'm doing these together. Okay. Still isn't that big a deal, right? $34. But what if we look at your life? Okay. I asked somebody in chat during the show here, Jacob, how many times do you think you've hit the 5 in your life? He said 3,000 times. I can buy that, right? I've been playing craps since I was 21. I'm 55, right? So I've probably got 3,000 5s in my life too. Maybe even I've hit 3,000 4s or 10s in my life. So it's not unheard of. What does that look like to you? If we did 3,000 wins on these numbers, let's say you hit 3,000 4s in your life, you've given up $6K in those $2, 2 for 20, 2 for 20. You've given up $6,000 just on a $10 bet, right? The 5 and 9, you're giving up $3K. The 6 and 8, you're giving up $1,200. Okay. God forbid you're betting the 2 or the 12. You're giving up $15,000 over the course of your life. Okay. Getting paid 30 for $5 or 35 for 5. Isn't that crazy? Right. But this is the impact of it on your life, the impact of the house edge over the course of your life. And you are playing not just 100 rolls today. You're playing, 60,000 rolls over the course of 5 years. That's what you're doing. You're giving up this kind of money in those losses. Imagine if instead of giving the house $2 every time you won, you put that $2 in your pocket. There's a fun experiment for you, right? Somebody had this idea in our comment section. What if every time you won the 4 or 10 for $10, you dropped $2 in your pocket and just took this extra $10 home? Let's do it like for a night, right? And take that $10 home, the $5 home, and just put it in a separate bank account, right? Over the course of a bunch of years, you'd have pretty good money sitting around, right? But that's what it looks like, guys. This is what the casino's doing. The casino's not paying 3,000 rolls either, right? Imagine a year's worth of play at one craps table, right? Where they're probably seeing, I don't know, 100,000. I'm sure more than that rolls, 100,000 or more of each of these numbers over the course of a year. Well, there's your millions of dollars that the tables are bringing in. That's where it comes in. That's the impact of it. And God forbid, let's take a look here too. Go back to like a normal, like a $3,000 wins on a number. Let's pick that number out of our hat. Look at the impact to you here, wins behind. Okay. If you hit 3,000 5s or 9s in your lifetime, you've given up that 3K in expected loss. You're 215 bets behind, getting even again. We talked earlier about the idea of the impact of the house edge being this kind of, you're not running a fair race. The casino's running without any hindrance. You're running with like a weight on your back. And the more you win, the heavier the weight gets and the steeper the hill gets that you're trying to climb. Look at it, right? 100 wins. Let's look at this column here. You're 11, 7, 3 wins behind, right? You go to 200 wins, those numbers are getting doubled. You go to 1,000 wins and it's worse. The more you win, the more number of wins you have to get clean outside of a 7 to get your house edge back. Now, a way to do that, of course, is pressing bets and using profit to make these bets a little higher and win some of these bets without coming out of your rack. But guess what? You're still paying the $2 or the whatever on the bets. Interesting, right? The wins behind thing is what the real eye opener for me is. Now, I'm going to show you another tab here that shows you the casino side of this. This is your side of it. This is what you're giving up in loss, what you're giving up in wins. The casino side works kind of the same, right? Let's take a look. Let's give them like just 100 wins. Okay, this sheet works the exact same, right? I'll do it at a $25 table here just to give you an example. We see a lot of those around, right? 4 and 10, right? And again, these are place bets, not buy bets. A little different math there, but you get my point. The casino's bringing back this, okay? And if you look at the projected number of outcomes, let's take the 4 and 10 first, right? You're 6-3 against. Okay. If there's a perfect cycle, what I call a cycle would be 36 rolls where you get exactly 3 4s or 10s and exactly 6 7s, exactly 4 5s or 9s and exactly 6 7s, exactly 5 6s or 8s, right? A perfect cycle. What does that look like to a casino? Okay. On the 4 or 10, 25-hour bet, you'd lose that bet 6 times. $150 goes to the house. Okay. But you would win 9 to 5 3 times for 135. Okay. The net to the casino, even when you win as often as you're supposed to, 3 times out of 9, they still are up $15. That's the net effect of this, right? So even if you win or lose as often as you ought to, for every full cycle, they're going to take away $15. The 5 and 9, you win 4, you lose 6, they come out of there with $10. 6 and 8, you win 5, you lose 6, they got $5 on you, right? This is what I call the full cycle. So as probabilities work themselves out, this is what they can expect per cycle. Now let's move this out and say, well, in a given night, how many cycles can you have in a given night at a table? Well, let's assume you're getting about, I don't know, 100 rolls an hour. Okay. And you got 24 hours. That's 2,400 rolls. Let's say you have 2,400 rolls divided by 36. That would be 66.6. So 67 cycles in one day at a craps table, potentially, right? So we'll do 67. It means a craps table on its own accord at a $25 table generates to the casino this much money. You got to times these by 2 because again, it's 4 or 10 here is the line. It's 4 and 10 in the cycle. So it'd be 2010, be $1,440. Okay. $700 here. So that's what the casino generates on a table. On a $25 table, they can expect to generate that if you're getting 100 rolls an hour and the table's basically full. This is what they can see per resolution per $25 bet. Now, again, you've got 10 people at a table that are doing this. Multiply these numbers by 10 and then by 2. That's your actual projected for a full table. Okay. Again, it's 10,000. It's 1,005 times 2 because it's the 4 and the 10 times 10 people. So these are actually 20 times higher than what they should be here on this chart. That's the casino's end of it, the bottom line. Why does the casino win? Why do I say the house always wins? Because they're jacking you up a little bit on these house edge bets, which you don't really realize. Okay. If it works out the way it should, you're winning less than you're losing. If they paid the actual true payment, this would be 0. Okay. And again, that's why they don't do it. You don't get true odds because if after 6 losses and 3 wins, you were at 0 and the casino was at 0, they'd never make any money. This is why this happens, but you got to see what the impact of that thing is over the course of time. So yeah, this is casino math. This is how they make their money. That house edge, people say house edge is BS. Don't worry about the house edge. You got to worry about it. You got to realize what it's doing and how the casinos are paying their bills. Again, this is the net proceeds from, let's call it one person at a table for 24 hours. That's what that looks like. Isn't that insane? And again, our end of it, right? The wins behind is where I look at that. We're looking at how far you've given up, how much money you've given up in those 2 for 20s, in the 15 for 1s, in the 15 for 1s on the 6 and 8. You're giving up big time dough. And the casino is raking in pretty good money on that too. So there is the impact of the house edge in dollars and cents with probabilities factored in. And again, this spreadsheet has roulette covered as well. It's the same thing on roulette. The numbers, of course, are different because, whatever, they're just different numbers. But the calculations are the exact same based on the odds against and what you're getting paid on these things. So to summarize, the house always wins. We know this, right? The house always wins, and the house edge is the way they always win. The real impact of the house edge is exactly what I showed you, right? Because you give up a little bit every time you win. You never truly win. In the long run, the house is guaranteed to come out on top, even when you beat them. Even when you beat them. Look at that chart, right? We have, after 3,000 wins on a place bet of a 4, you're 300 and something wins behind, right? Even if I win 100 more 4s than I should, I'm still going to be behind 250, whatever wins, right? You can never catch up. This is the race where as the casino was running ahead of you. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Um, Wife of the year right here. Boom. Starbucks, baby. Yeah, right. See, we love you. Um, but yeah, that race starts out. The race starts out, and you're here. Maybe you're kind of even, right? And they start getting ahead, and they get more ahead. I'm going the wrong way. They get more ahead, and you get further behind because the weight of that house edge, it just picks up on you, and you'll never catch them. Even if you win twice as much, you'll get to here, and they'll go off screen again. You'll never catch them. It's brutal, right? And again, I don't begrudge them that. I said this yesterday. I don't care. Like I care because obviously it's a lot of money, right? But in the end, they're a business and that's how they do it, right? I said it before. The grocery stores make money, the restaurants make money, everybody makes money. This is just their way of doing it. Okay. But they're guaranteed to win. You're not, right? They take your full loss, they take a premium on your win, and together, as you can see, that pays the bills. And what pays the bills is the delta, right? They're not paying the bills on your losses. You think they are, but they're not. The losses and the wins are expected to happen at the correct rate. It's that slice off the top, that edge. That's where the bills get paid, right? It's you not getting paid right. So you got to know, right, what those edges are, so that when you're making bets, you're not making the crazy bets where you're feeding them. As you saw, the bet on the 12 was feeding them like 6 times the amount that your place bets were feeding them, right? A chart like that should be very eye-opening to you. So hopefully that does open your eyes a little bit, and give you something at least to think about, right? Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to leave us a comment here in the comment section for the video, but really better still, join us on Discord. Go to casinogaming.tv and hit the community link in the menu there and join our Discord. That's where me, other YouTubers, and all of our subscribers hang out. We sit there and talk strategy and just BS kind of all day long. It's a great way to get connected and stay connected and kind of interact with the team, learn about meetups and get-togethers and all that kind of stuff. So with all that said, again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. God bless you, and I will see you in the next one.